Hello, welcome back to Social Studies. We are starting a new unit this week. We are on week 11, which is going to be all about our next theme of geography, which is place. Last week we worked on location, and remember now we are breaking down our 5 themes of geography even more. So this week is all about place. We are going to be starting with physical characteristics, which will be what today's lesson is going to be about. Hopefully you have already watched your first 2 videos. Those will really give you some great background knowledge. If you have not watched those, you need to stop and go back and watch those first 2 videos. I'm going to go ahead and go through the readings here, and then I will walk you through what your assignment is today. So again, we're working on physical characteristics and physical features today. Think in your head, based on what we had worked on previously with place, do you remember what a physical characteristic or a physical feature is when we're talking about geography? Well, let's read a little bit about it. The theme of place refers to how we describe a location. How would you describe the physical characteristics around you? What are the weather patterns? What are the natural resources of a place? How many people live there? We describe the theme of place using physical and human characteristics. Landscape, plants, climate, and animals are all physical characteristics. People and buildings are human characteristics. Each place on Earth is different because of its human and physical characteristics. So that's a really big difference that I want you to notice right now that our newspaper and our Studies Weekly online just spoke about. So the difference between, and it says it here, human and physical characteristics. Human and physical characteristics are both part of the theme of place from 5 themes of geography. Today, we are working on physical characteristics, and this week is all about physical characteristics. Next week, we will be working with human characteristics. So there is a difference there. I'm going to show you notability. Just to give you a quick overview before we dig deeper into physical characteristics. Physical characteristics of our Earth. What is in a place, that was not added by people? So think about that. Think about in your community, in your backyard. What is in your community and in your backyard that was not added by people, that was already there before? Well, we have our land, our climate, natural resources, and natural hazards. We're all in this place in our community and in our backyards before humans were here. Natural features of the environment. So you can think of trees, rivers, hills, things and items like that. On the flip side of that, we have human characteristics of our 5 themes of geography of place. Human characteristics. How have people changed the land? Well, we have homes, buildings, roads, farms, parks, trains, bridges, and many more. This is a feature of the environment that has been added by people. So that's the big difference here. Physical characteristics and features have not been added by humans. They were here before. They were not added by people. Human characteristics and features have been added by people. Okay, so let's go back to our Studies Weekly here. So I want you to take a look at these 2 pictures here. This first picture over here and another picture right here. Let's take a look at this picture first. Think to yourself, what physical characteristics do we see in this photo? Well, you might have said the lake, there's rocks, there's hills or mountains in the background, and there's trees along the water. What about human characteristics in this photo here? What human characteristics do you see? None, right? We don't see anything in here, at least that I'm seeing, that was not put in there by humans. Now, what about this picture on the other side here? What is a human characteristic that we might see in this picture right here? Well, I see the sidewalk that they're walking on. We have our poles here with our walking signs. We have lots of people walking through with different electronics. And we have tall buildings and street lights. Lots of items that humans have added in. What about physical characteristics? Do you see any in this photo? I do. I see some trees in our background here. Alrighty. So let's go ahead and continue our talk about our physical features of our Earth. If you flew to a place in an airplane, what would you see when you looked out the window? You might see physical features such as a forest, mountains, rivers, or oceans. Physical characteristics occur naturally in the environment. So those examples that we just talked about previously. A physical map shows major physical features. Look at the map. Look at the physical map of the world. Can you locate mountain ranges and rivers? Can you identify the forests? The map shows us all these physical features. So this map here is a physical features map of the world. And remember, when we're looking at our map, we have different parts of our map that we want to use to help us read our map. First, look at this symbol right here. Do you remember what it's called? It is a compass rose. Very good. And then also over here, this is labeled for us. We have our key and our legend. So we know that our rivers are going to be, we're going to understand that they're rivers based on our blue lines. Oceans are going to be blue. Mountains will have triangles. Continents will have a C here. And we have forests that will have another little black and green symbol right here. So we'll see lots of this color green when we're looking at those forests. All right, so taking a look at this map here. Where do we see lots of forests? Where would we see lots of forests? I see some over here where we see lots of green areas. And I see some right over here. And then also up here, a little bit above Michigan. So those are other physical features of a map. Remember, these are items that were here before or while humans were here. Humans did not put these items here. All right, so those are our readings. I'm going to go back to Notability, and I want to go over this real quick. So Earth's characteristics. We're going to be looking, remember, at the difference between physical and human characteristics. So I just want to go over this real quick to make sure we know the difference there. And I do apologize, it is a little blurry. But again, there are two ways that we identify Earth's characteristics. We can describe them either with physical characteristics, which are natural to the Earth, and then we also have human characteristics that were items added in by humans. So let's go through this together. Clouds. Do you think clouds, and I'm right here, clouds are physical or human characteristics? They are physical. Oh my goodness, look at my pen there. I need to make that smaller. Wow. You are right, physical, very good. I'm actually just gonna highlight it. I think that's a better way. There we go. And what about a gas station? Physical or human? Very good, physical. I want you to go ahead and pause this video, and I want you to try to test yourself, and then we'll go over the correct answers together. So pause the video real quick, and then we will go through the answers together. All right, so I'm going to go over the answers with you. Pause it if you're not ready. So house is human. Rain and snow is a physical characteristic. An island is a physical characteristic. A playground is a human characteristic. That was made by humans. Trees and plants, I'm on the other side now, is physical. Sidewalk is humans because humans have to lay that concrete down. Paper is going to be humans. And grass is physical. mountains is physical and lake is physical. Sometimes humans do make and create their own lakes, but for this purpose, I'm going to put it as physical. All right, awesome. That is just a little background versus the two, but remember, we are working on physical characteristics and physical features today in geography. So for your assignment today, it's going to look a little something like this. You will have a page on the top, and then you need to match up your squares here with the correct description. Now, you can do this one of two ways. If you have a printer at home, you can print this out and you can actually cut your squares and glue them in. If you decide to do it that way, when you are done, you will need to take a picture of your note of the page that you just completed. Then you're going to create a new note, and you're going to add in your photo by going into Photo Library and selecting that photo. You're going to put your completed assignment in here and then submit it back to Schoology. That's one option. If you don't have a printer at home, that's okay. You can do it right here on Notability. How I want you to do that is, you see how each square has a name next to it? You're just going to write in the correct name. So let's do island as an example one. So island, I'm going to look up here. I'm going to look at all of my options of what could possibly be island. And an area of land that is completely surrounded by water. That sounds like an island to me. So I'm going to go in with my pencil here. I'm going to look at my island, and I'm going to write it in. Actually, I'm going to use my text box. You can use your text box, or you can write it in if you would like. Oh my goodness. Don't know what was going on there. Let's try this one more time. And my font is very tiny, so I'm going to make it bigger. There we go. All right, so that is your job, is to try to read the descriptions and see if you can figure out which description matches the correct picture down here. All right, so again, for this example, it was an area of land that is completely surrounded by water. You can look at the picture here. It is a piece of land completely surrounded by water. When you are done with this, you will submit it back into Schoology so your teachers can look over it. If you have any questions, always reach out. Have a great day, you guys.